In this video, why do we mark ANZAC Day at dawn? Why red poppy is the symbol of ANZAC? What is the heartwarming story behind ANZAC biscuits? Stay with us in this story to find out. In the words of Mustafa Kemal Ataturk, those heroes that shed their blood and lost their lives, you are now lying in the soil of a friendly country. This is the essence of ANZAC Day. A century ago, on the 25th day of April in 1916, a tradition began. A tradition steeped in bravery, sacrifice and camaraderie known as ANZAC Day. This day marks the anniversary of the first significant military action fought by Australian and New Zealand forces during the First World War. It was on this day in the year before that the ANZACs, shorthand for Australian and New Zealand Army Corps, landed on the shores of Gallipoli, Turkey. This was no ordinary battle, no simple skirmish between opposing forces. It was a campaign that would last 8 long, grueling months and would result in the loss of over 10,000 lives from Australia and New Zealand. Their sacrifice, their courage, their tenacity, all for the sake of their countries and the freedom of others, is what we remember and honor on ANZAC Day. But why, you may ask, do we mark this day at dawn? The answer lies in the very heart of military strategy, the cover of darkness, the element of surprise. These were tools used by armies throughout history. The ANZACs, like many before them, launched their attack at dawn. The breaking of day was not just a new beginning, it was a time of conflict, of courage, and of hope. And so it is at this time, as the first light of day breaks, that we hold our dawn services. As we gather in the pre-dawn stillness, we remember not just the ANZACs, but all those who have served and lost their lives in conflict since. We stand together in silence, in respect, in gratitude. As the sun rises, so does our remembrance, our respect and our gratitude. Amidst the crashing waves and against the backdrop of an unfamiliar land, they stood ready to make history. The Gallipoli campaign was a significant event in the First World War, marking the ANZAC's first major military action. On that fateful day of April 25, 1915, under the cover of dawn, the ANZAC troops landed on the shores of the Gallipoli Peninsula, Turkey. This was a strategic move aimed at securing the Dardanelles Strait, a crucial route to the Black Sea and Russia. However, instead of the expected sparse Turkish forces, the ANZACs were met with fierce resistance from a well-prepared enemy. The terrain, too, was an unexpected adversary. Steep ridges and deep gullies made the advance grueling and deadly, but the ANZACs pressed on, their courage and determination unwavering. They dug into the sides of the cliffs, setting up camp on the very beaches they landed on. As the sun rose higher in the sky, the reality of their situation set in, but their spirit remained unbroken. In the face of adversity, they stood their ground, carving their names into the annals of history. Now, how red poppy came to this story? In the quiet moments of remembrance, a single red bloom holds a profound significance. The red poppy, a humble wildflower, has become a powerful symbol of memory and respect on ANZAC Day. Its origin lies in the poignant words of the poem "In Flanders Fields," written by Lieutenant Colonel John McCrae. The words of the poem, inspired by the sight of poppies growing amidst the graves of soldiers in Flanders, struck a chord across nations. The red of the poppy came to represent the blood and sacrifice of the fallen soldiers, a stark reminder of the cost of war. Today on ANZAC Day, the red poppy is worn close to the heart. Each poppy serves as a personal pledge to remember the ANZACs, their courage, their sacrifice and their indomitable spirit. The poppy may be silent, but its message resonates lest we forget. Now let's look at sweet part of ANZAC. In the midst of the turmoil, a sweet tradition was born. While the ANZACs were fighting bravely on the front lines, their loved ones back home were rallying support in their own unique way. The ANZAC biscuit, a simple yet hearty treat, was born out of this period of struggle. These biscuits were designed to withstand the long journey to the troops overseas. They were often sent in care packages, offering a small taste of home amidst the chaos of war. The biscuits were not just a culinary delight, but a symbol of love and support from those anxiously waiting back home. The act of baking and sharing these biscuits became a tradition, a way to honor the ANZAC spirit. Today, ANZAC biscuits continue to be a significant part of ANZAC Day commemorations. The humble ANZAC biscuit, a sweet reminder of our shared past, continues to connect us year after year to the spirit of ANZAC Day. From the echoes of the past ANZAC Day has evolved, yet its essence remains unchanged. A day of remembrance initially intended to honor the soldiers of the Australian and New Zealand Army Corps who served in the Gallipoli campaign of the First World War, ANZAC Day has continually adapted to encompass the brave deeds of countless other servicemen and women. As the decades rolled on, the significance of ANZAC Day broadened. The Second World War saw an influx of new veterans who too deserved recognition for their courage and sacrifices. These brave souls, who had fought on distant shores and in the skies above, found their place in the ANZAC Day commemorations. Their stories added another layer to the rich tapestry of ANZAC history. From the 1960s onwards, public interest in ANZAC Day surged. The day was no longer solely a veterans' affair, but a national event, a day of unity. Schools, communities and families began to engage more actively in the commemorations. They attended dawn services, parades and remembrance ceremonies, honoring the ANZAC spirit that had become an integral part of their national identity. ANZAC Day, a day that transcends time, a day that binds us together. The spirit of ANZAC is not just about remembering the past, it's about inspiring the future. The spirit of ANZAC is a potent mix of courage, mateship and sacrifice. It's about the camaraderie between mates, the bonds formed in the trenches that were stronger than steel. But the spirit of ANZAC is not confined to the annals of history. It continues to shape the character of our nation, seeping into the very fabric of Australian society. It's etched into the ethos of our educational institutions, influencing school curriculums with its emphasis on courage, resilience and mutual respect. It's an integral part of our national identity, a guiding beacon that directs our collective consciousness. The spirit of ANZAC is alive in the stories we tell our children, the values we instill in them. It's alive in the respect we show to our elders, the reverence we have for our veterans. It's alive in our community spirit, our willingness to lend a hand to a mate in need. It's alive in our commitment to uphold the democratic ideals that our forebears fought for. The spirit of ANZAC, alive in our hearts, alive in our deeds. ANZAC Day today is a blend of dawn vigils, commemorative services and military parades. As the first light of dawn breaks, Australians and New Zealanders gather in silence. This silence is not empty, but filled with remembrance and respect. On this day, the haunting notes of the last post echo across the still morning air, a poignant reminder of lives lost too soon. The minute of silence that follows is a powerful testament to the courage and resilience of those who fought for our freedom. It's a time to remember, a time to honor, a time to be grateful. As the silence breaks, the national anthems of Australia and New Zealand fill the air, a collective voice raised in respect and remembrance. But ANZAC Day is not about glorifying war, it's about the people, the soldiers, the nurses, the families left behind. It's about their spirit, their courage, their love for their country. It's about understanding the cost of freedom, the value of peace, and the importance of unity. Today, ANZAC Day is a symbol of our shared history, a thread that connects us to our past and guides us towards our future. It's a day to remember, to reflect, and to pay our respects. We remember them, for they are us. Their courage is our courage. Their spirit is our spirit. Their legacy is our legacy. As we stand together on ANZAC Day, we honor them, we remember them, and we thank them. We remember them, for they are us.